Let's go.
Jeffrey Epstein's saga may soon have a new chapter or...
Oh.
Jeffrey Epstein's saga may soon have a new chapter or maybe not. His convicted accomplice, that is Ghislaine Maxwell, has offered now to testify before Congress, but it comes with significant conditions.
I think they denied her
grant and also having the interview somewhere other than the correctional facility where she is serving her sentence right now. She was subpoenaed by House Oversight Chair James Comer. According to her attorneys, if Maxwell's demands are not met, she will simply invoke the Fifth Amendment. Her attorneys do point out that Maxwell is appealing her conviction right now, and anything she says before Congress could end up compromising her case. A committee spokeswoman has
I knew she wasn't going to talk.
Congressional immunity
basically, if she doesn't get... She basically wants a certain deal, right, to where she wants full, right, she basically wants her freedom back. And in order for her to get her freedom back, she'll spill the beans. But if the government doesn't give that to her, right, then she's going to plead the Fifth. Basically saying she's not going to spill the beans. So, yeah, there it is. Aha, see?
Will include YouTube in its social media ban for children under the age of 16. Despite threats from Google, which owns YouTube, the government will press on, vowing to stay on the side of families. Joining us live this morning, tech expert and editor at EFTM.com, Trevor Long. Good to see you this morning, as always, Trevor. So, kids won't be able to set up accounts, but you don't need to. So, how would something like this be enforced?
So the critical thing here, Pete, is that they're trying, the government, and I think Annika Wells' comments here are pretty
I mean, to be fair, the kids can just use the parents' accounts. Right. Also, depending on how strict the account system making is, right, it could be a low bar of entry where there's no strict, like, checks and balances. Whereas there could be checks and balances where you have to put in, like, certain information about yourself, right? And you can obviously still lie in those too.
They're trying to stop kids from being exposed to the algorithm and also to comments. So kids won't get recommended content on YouTube. Critically, for everyone who's against this concept, is teachers can still watch YouTube videos and share them with kids, share the links. Parents can share links to YouTube videos with their kids. Kids can still watch Mr. Beast. They just can't have an account. So the account can't
like you can watch YouTube without an account, right? If you have YouTube without an account, you just look up whatever you want to search and then it pops up all the videos.
YouTube Kids, another platform mainly on TVs, completely not included in this. So younger kids, we're talking 5 to 8, are still going to be able to watch that. But kids under 16 will not be able to have an account, allowing them to get recommendations to subscribe and like with channels, and they'll still be exposed to YouTube content, which kind of is a bit weird given the eSafety Commissioner said that there was so much harmful content on YouTube, yet actually they'll still be able to get it, just not with
they'll still be able to get to it.
Couldn't they just set one up, though, with a phony birth date?
Correct.
Well, this is the big challenge, Pete. We don't know yet how these platforms...
Yeah, we don't know how they're going to enforce it, right? We don't know exactly why.
Accessing it. There's no possibility under the legislation for parents to be prosecuted.
That's the real issue on these platforms. What these companies are going to do. Because you don't know if they're going to start asking you for your actual ID and shit like that. That's where it becomes an issue, right?
No successful technology trial to show what age a child is accurately. The window of error is a year or more.
That's why you would rather have the government come in and just regulate it and say, hey, these are the rules you have to follow. And if you don't follow these rules, we're gonna can your company.
On that point of the owners.
But instead, we have this issue where
they're
giving some leeway to
and so we just don't
to
do
the companies to do what they want, right? Or on how to fix the situation.
Be on the parents rather than the social media companies themselves.
Mate, that's my opinion.
And sometimes
entirely.
that leeway to fix the solution is gonna fuck up a lot of
helping parents
people.
and counselling kids that are having troubles. Parents need to be parents, and all the platforms.
Yeah, I mean,
other
at the
than
end of the day, yes, it's at the parents' discretion, right? They should be fucking paying attention to their fucking
what their kids see, to limit what their kids can share. YouTube doesn't have those things. So actually, of all the platforms, YouTube is the worst. And so
also, I don't think kids should be on social media to begin with. Unless you're operating under the pretense you have to do it for like school or some kind of job or something. Right? If you,
that's not good.
You should, right? These kids shouldn't be interacting with,
that's big government.
Right?
Just this defense
grown-ups,
YouTube, Trevor,
so
I
to
just want to
speak.
get your thoughts on it. It says it's a video sharing site. It's not social media. Is that right? Does that wash in your view?
So is TikTok. TikTok's a video sharing site.
Correct.
That's exactly what it is. It's just that we see YouTube differently.
I mean, a lot of these sites are video sharing sites now too, because they started putting up their own video player stuff
now. Have a look at the
now.
YouTube app and go to YouTube Shorts.
So the landscape of social media sites are all changing. Right, everything's changing.
Kids are using. That's the addictive scroll, the algorithm. That's exactly what Instagram Reels and TikTok is. So
it's changing
if there's going
slowly.
to be a ban on TikTok and Meta, there has to be a ban on YouTube. That's the way I believe. I believe this is the right decision by the government, given the move towards this ban.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Good to have you with us, and you explain things so well and simply, Trevor.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
There you have it. Nah, that's in the Australia. Fucking prison island and emu land. Trans activist says it doesn't matter.
There's gonna be a problem. Boy goes into the girl's room, there's gonna be a problem. Inherently implying that transgender people like myself are sexual deviants? Even as children who haven't even gone.
It has nothing to do with the sexual deviance of anything. It's to do with the fucking being unprofessional and being fucking it's not nice, right? It's bad etiquette. It looks bad.
On through puberty. Come on, guys. It doesn't matter. Everyone just has to go to the bathroom, like what was just said. It really doesn't matter at all. And it's being blown up into this big thing. And I think if this is the sort of comments that you're going to be getting at school committee meetings, yeah, maybe you shouldn't allow public comment. If that's the sort of thing. And it was just going on and on and on. And the same questions just kept getting repeated over and over again, because the people asking these questions do not want answers. The people who are asking these questions want to force their beliefs onto everyone else, because as much as we talk about indoctrination, we're not the majority. We're not the ones who are purporting our views as being quote unquote normal.
Well, I mean, because I have to say, because there's no such thing as trans children. I mean, I'm just going to say it. There's no such thing as trans children. The fact that you have kids coming out as trans is because those kids have been indoctrinated by their parents to do that kind of shit. That's all that is. Fucking weird. Admits he was wrong about Trump. Well, women vote for open borders, and then complain about crime. Your kid when you drop him off at school. Jesus Christ. Your kid when you pick him up from school. WWE. Lunatic leftist blessed Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle jean ad as Nazi propaganda. Yeah, they did that. Yeah, they had a hissy fit. Trump's big beautiful bill forces 5 Planned Parenthood clinics to close in NorCal. Yeah, that was funny. They adopted this baby, but guess what? Yeah, he's a... Yeah. Yeah. So he saw this too. Whoever runs this channel saw this too. Oh, that's the Dexter guy.
The stock market is at record highs. I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. And I would have thought, and I gotta own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't.
The president makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record.
You must be envious.
Well, I think we've been discussing irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue.
The fucking reporter called him out. DeSantis reveals DHS deportation flights out of Alcatraz. No cell phones, just kids living in the moment. Gee, fucking waterboarding. My mental health memes. Alright, there you have it. Meme the left if you want to check it out. What is this? Trump asked about criticism that Starmer wasn't entirely honest about free speech and immigration. Obviously he wasn't fucking honest.
There's a perception maybe that Keir Starmer didn't do so well in the press conference yesterday. Do you have any words of support for him?
He did well in the press conference, and I thought, I think they made a good deal. I think we all made a good deal. Why are you hearing otherwise, I guess?
Yeah. I think the feeling is that he was maybe a little weak and didn't really have very strong answers and maybe wasn't entirely honest about free speech and immigration.
I like him. I think he's good. I think he's a great representative for UK. I haven't heard that.
That's Trump.
In your meeting with John Swinney today, did you offer to drop tariffs on Scotch whiskey? Did you have
we really didn't discuss it much, but I have a lot of respect for him.
Mr. President,
I didn't have a lot of respect for the woman that preceded him. I thought she was terrible as a First Minister of Scotland. But I think John is doing a very good job as First Minister.
Called out Scotland though. wasn't trying to call out Starmer, but called out Scotland. Okay, I see how it is.
There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
Some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it, and you can't fake that. So we're going to be even more involved.
Going back for you, security agency agrees with Trump. Yeah. Agency gave its starkest warning yet about starvation in Gaza. Israel has a lot of responsibility when it comes to
we're
limiting
going to set up
aid.
food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences.
Israel is presented as though we are applying a campaign of starvation in Gaza. What a bold-faced lie.
Yeah, apparently this there was one faulty SIG case where it actually took a person's life, unfortunately. And there's probably going to be a lawsuit on it. I think the person who got deceased by the firearm was also a service member, so that's even more fucked up. His own firearm took him out. Trump got so shook they're throwing random shit at the wall and hoping it sticks, huh? I mean, they've been doing that ever since, right? Ever since he was running and shit, right? So nothing's changed. Beto O'Rourke claims rigged the midterms.
People understand that we can
this
fight
guy?
back. We're always on the back foot.
Beto.
We're always reacting. We're always fighting back instead of fighting forward, going on the offense, taking the fight to them. If
Do you
we have
love
learned nothing
black people?
so far, it is that they will not stop at 5 congressional seats in Texas. They will find other pretense to rig this election even further, because Donald Trump understands that if Democrats get a majority in the House, there will be accountability for every illegal, corrupt thing that he has done so far, every illegal, corrupt thing that he plans to do going forward. And that third term certainly is out the window. So his future and fate hangs in the balance for this one. And you know that guy is going to do literally everything within his power. He will break the law. He will incite violence. He'll do whatever it takes.
Incite violence.
You shut up!
Haven't you guys been inciting violence
I'm so
the whole
fucking
fucking
scared
time?
right now. You shut up!
When I ran for governor, I had to convince members of my family to vote for me.
Yeah.
And it was because I had to convince them to vote. Because for a lot of members of my family, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't feel connected. I don't feel an attachment to the Democratic Party or frankly in politics as a whole. And so I think that if we really want to address the issue, I think we've got to start making sure that this is not something that we're doing because of an electoral strategy, but something that we're doing because we actually care about the prospects, because it is true that we have a justice system that has been targeting and weighted against black men. We have an education system that has been deliberate about the way that we are criminalizing and punishing black boys. When we're watching the results of our young black boys continue to downgrade, and we are actually then turning around and blaming the black boys for their failure.
Oppression
Not the
Olympics
system,
2025.
not the structure, but the young men, blaming them. We do have a system of employment where we make it more difficult for black men to be able to enter into the employment market. We do have a system that makes basically every sentence a life sentence, that when someone comes back from incarceration, we make it deeply challenging for them to be able to get public housing, challenging for them to be able to get a student loan, challenging for them to get a home loan, challenging for them to reintegrate with their families. And then we wonder what's going on with black men and why they're not voting for us.
Oh, man.
As you can see, that's the demographic he's targeting. It says black brethren, right? The black brethren and sisters out there. UK Gov will recognize the state of Palestine amid pressure from France.
Breaking news out of the UK this morning. Its government will recognise the state of Palestine unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire in Gaza. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, announced his country will join France in recognising a Palestinian state at the United Nations in September.
Them with recognition.
I can confirm the UK will recognise the state of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September.
We will recognize them
unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza, agree to a ceasefire, and commit to a long-term
Basically,
sustainable
they're
peace,
trying to force another sovereign nation to do something they don't want to do.
Israel condemned the move, its foreign minister saying Israel rejects the statement by the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. the shift in the British government's position at this time following the French
I thought
move.
we weren't supposed to. I thought we weren't supposed to stick our hands in other people's fucking government operations and shit, right? And whatever fucking black ops they're doing. But it seems like the UK, right? The UK wants to fucking stick their hands into this shit.
And internal political pressures constitutes a reward for Hamas and harms efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza and a framework for the release of hostages. The US President Donald Trump agreed with Israel, saying he does not support the recognition of a Palestinian state.
You know,
I mean, I'll say it again.
If you do
like I said it yesterday and
rewarded,
probably like the day before.
I'm not in that.
Right, the reason why they're not
to
going
honest.
to fucking release the hostages is because as soon as that happens, they're going to get fucked.
Because if you do that, you really are rewarding Hamas.
They're going to get railed so quick.
I'm not about to do that.
Sky's John
Because
Craig has more
that's
now
their
from
only
Downing
leverage
Street.
against these countries. It's the
bowed to the
hostages.
pressure from those 2,250
As soon as they give up their only leverage,
most
well,
of whom were Labour,
well, what
who
else
were
do they
calling
have
for
left?
this
They have nothing.
recognition to
They
come
have no bargaining
actually
chips.
at the conference
They're
this week where David Lammy has been speaking. So we've already heard from, in the last few minutes, from Sarah Champion. She's the MP who wrote the letter.
That's the only reason why
the
they've been
International
able to stay
Development,
alive and bargain
Committee,
for so long.
all-party committee,
is because of hostages.
And she's delighted, as you might expect, although she's a bit concerned about those conditions, 4 of them. The 4 conditions are, just to summarise them briefly, 1, the end the appalling situation in Gaza.
I mean, it's literally the same way how right companies blackmail employees
that delivers a
sometimes.
2-state solution.
Or just
well,
people
we've heard
in
how
general
hostile the Israeli
blackmailing,
reaction is,
right, other people.
So it's not doesn't bode too well for that happening. Now, from political opponents, yes, political posturing, says Kemi Badenoch. Appeasing his backbenchers, says Priti Patel, the Shadow Foreign Secretary. Now, from Sir Ed Davey, who signed that Sarah Champion letter, along with plenty of others, he says it's a good thing, but he's worried that it's being used as a bargaining chip. Yes.
Oh yeah, this is
right
social
about
engineering
that. It does look that
too.
way. Now the other pressure, of course, came from
politicians.
inside
Politicians
the cabinet.
like to social
The Prime Minister
engineer a lot.
referred when he was speaking to journalists this afternoon about the cabinet meeting.
Especially when they're not supposed to
it's
leak certain
estimated
right
that at least
confidential
7
information.
cabinet ministers,
Have to be
including
very
big
selective with
hitters
their
like
words.
the Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner
And they have to
indeed
try
the Foreign
and,
Secretary
rally people
were
to their
calling for
cause
this
too,
move.
without,
Then, of course, there was the
leaking certain
pressure from
information.
Emmanuel Macron at the weekend, and he said that his country would recognise it at the General Assembly in September in New York, UN General Assembly. But it is significant that President Trump, who seemed to be getting on so well with the Prime Minister up in Scotland, as when he was asked, did the PM discuss it with you? We never did discuss it, he told reporters.
Trump is not
on
an
Air
evil
Force
guy.
One. The Prime Minister did call
I mean, he
Benjamin
may have a
Netanyahu
sharp
today
tongue
to tell him
sometimes,
he's also
but
spoken to the
that's
King
because
of
there's
Jordan.
been a
He's
lot
due
of
to make
people
more phone
targeting him.
calls to try and sell this package. But politically, well, back home amongst his political opponents, it's gone down badly. He's pleased Labour MPs, and the suspicion is that it looks a bit more like party management.
There it is. There's a death at Devil's Den. Police looking for man after couple killed at Arkansas State Park.
Manhunt for a killer. This man killed a couple in a West Arkansas State Park. And now we are hearing the moments that first responders arrived on that scene.
Units still en route attacked a male and a female on Devil's Den hiking trail, and we suspect the suspect to have injuries due to the witness seeing the suspect stab one of them.
Okay, so maybe this killer had some injuries, right? Arkansas State Police say this couple, married couple, found dead on a walking trail at Devil's Den State Park, about 4 hours west of here, close to Fayetteville, Arkansas. State Police say this couple hiking with their 2 young daughters, and this man attacked them and killed them. The children were right there. Troopers say the children were not hurt, though, and they're with their family safe this morning. Investigators described the killer as a man last seen driving a black four-door sedan with a plate covered by tape.
That they couldn't say anything, but that everything was closed for an emergency. We then went over by, it was a creek
Killed
trail
the couple,
of some sort,
but not the
and
not the
a park
children.
ranger said that they had an active scene.
God's gonna help them, you know, because those people didn't
Left
deserve
witnesses.
that. I mean, they're just out here just trying to enjoy their time.
Yeah. That family lived near that state park. They had recently moved to that area. Just a tragic situation, and the daughters witnessed it, we understand. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says that law enforcement is not going to rest until this killer is brought to justice.
Yeah, apparently, I think we saw earlier that they captured him. Let me... Let's do it quick. Oh, he's not... Okay, so they're still looking for him. I thought they found him. Oh, maybe it was from a different... I was thinking of a different crime. Or incident, sorry. What do we got here? Special Force Unit will monitor online anti-migrant sentiment. Uh-oh.
Welcome to Minority Report.
Foreign invader sentiment, you mean?
Welcome to Minority Report.
Welcome
that
to
name's a lot more
Minority.
literal than you think. But anyway, police unit in England to monitor online signs of anti-migrant disorder. They are using this to predict the likelihood of
I
more
mean, that's
riots
what we're
taking
getting,
place.
right?
Intelligence
The surveillance
team could track social
the
media and flag early
surveillance
signs
bullshit
of
that's
civil
coming
unrest
in
in
now
response
with the
to renewed
UK.
demonstrations.
They're
A national police
doing,
unit
like,
will monitor
Minority
social
Report
media for
bullshit
signs of anti-migrant disorder amid fears of a repeat of last summer's riots.
Oh, you
across
posted
England.
this? This is inciting
Detectives from across
violence.
the country will flag
This
up
is
the
thought
early
crime.
signs of
See
civil
ya.
unrest under a beefed-up National Police Coordination Centre in Westminster. So they're
Oh,
going to
you
be
can't
monitoring
post
the internet
these,
for all of your
lewd pictures?
anti-migrant
Fool
posts
you.
and then acting accordingly. Like training for riots. Remember, like that little footage that we saw of the police doing riot training, and the rioter was dressed up with like a fucking Union Jack around him and all that stuff. Because basically, they're not after the criminals; they're after the natives. But anyway, the new intelligence team is a response to the anti-migrant disorder across England and Northern Ireland after the murder of 3 young girls at a Taylor Swift-themed holiday club in Southport last July. A fresh wave of demonstrations spread this weekend to Leeds, Norwich, and Nottinghamshire after violent scenes last week outside a hotel housing asylum seekers in Epping, Essex. Why did the riot happen, Guardian? Why was there a riot outside the Epping hotel? It's because a resident there assaulted little girls, didn't he? Yeah, you left that part out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll give the Guardian a chance.
Basically,
Let's see if they
there was a
actually
riot.
discuss why.
There was literally a riot here because there was an illegal alien that assaulted a young person. I think sexually assaulted the young person. And then you had people trying to protect that fucking person who assaulted that fucking young lady. It was so fucking weird.
The plan for a new police unit to track signs of such disorder were revealed on Sunday in a letter to MPs by the policing minister, Diana Johnson. Johnson said the Home Office was carefully considering building a National Internet Intelligence Investigations team, how about that, as part of the NPOCC, which shares briefings on nationally significant demonstrations with police forces across England and Wales. Now, you're maybe going, fellow jocks might be going like, oh, that's great, it's only getting set up in England. Nah, Scotland's going to look at this and go, that's a great idea. They're going to go and do it as well. She said this team will provide a national capability to monitor social media intelligence and advise on its use to inform local operational decision making. In other words, it's going to be like Minority Report, where they analyze certain data and they establish the likelihood of a crime taking place.
Correct.
This is allegedly just so
right,
that
they're based on, yeah, basically how Minority Report basically does it, based on based on your history, essentially. They dictate on your what's your behavioral status on creating a crime or doing a crime, and basically if you hit a certain percentage, that's when they come after you.
Protests now. And yeah, it's just so they can
basically, if you hit a
certain
if your sanity gets low, they're gonna come fuck you in the ass, right?
That's the first thing they do. Or who created the Facebook group? Who's organising it? Cool, round them up. That's what they do to preempt
If you had
protests.
a sanity meter,
right, it's not so. So we can make sure
from
we have more boots
0
on the ground
to
and have all the
100,
riot gear and the pepper spray and all that ready. Not so that they can round up
50,
the protest leaders. That's what they do.
Or like
and also
49,
so they can get the little undercover guys to go into
butt.
the crowd, and if it's a peaceful protest, they'll make sure it turns violent. See the people that do the violence at the protests, they're undercover police officers, they're paid agitators. Paul Sillett being one of them, and we had a nice big chat about him on Twitter the other day. This will be a dedicated function at a national level for exploiting internet intelligence, at least they're honest about it, to help local forces manage public safety threats and risks, and by that they mean arrest the organisers. Funding for this capability beyond 2025 to 26 will need to be considered in line with future funding priorities. But I am confident that as a first step, this new central team will help build capability across forces to maximise social media intelligence. Because yes, the police are watching what you post online. They're also using
Correct.
AI to basically search up certain keywords and then calculating the risk that you could possibly pose. It's basically, I've always said that the government...
Yeah, the government is paying attention. Right, the government created some certain websites too within the World Wide Web, so that they can monitor fucking people. You know that? So, yes, they're fucking watching sometimes. Also, all they have to do is subpoena, ask for a warrant from the companies to give you all the information on you.
Should use the Brandenburg test to see the likelihood of whether or not someone's speech could actually result in violence. Well, it turns out they are using it, but I'm kind of like, not like this. Not like this. But anyway, critics claimed the unit was an attempt to police opinions that would turn Britain into a surveillance state. We've been a surveillance state for a very, very long time. The surveillance state is just getting stronger and increasing the scope of its authority. That's what it's done. We already are a surveillance state. Now it's just a question of how strong is the surveillance state going to get. Stronger and stronger because we don't impede it enough. It's almost like government was a bad idea. But basically, yeah, it's going to be used to police opinions because they're not just going to look at certain posts and say, oh, this might make a likelihood of a riot in this area quite high. They're going to see the person who made the post. They're going to get a knock on the door.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. They're basically going to make people
they
too
see the
afraid to
post
post
and
things like this
immediately
online.
go to
they want
your
the riots
fucking
to
house
stop,
and
so
knock
they're going
on
to
your
create
door.
what's called the chilling effect, where basically if people who create
they're
post
gonna
anti-migrant
fucking
sentiment, as they like to call it,
shackle you as soon as
online,
possible.
that person gets a knock on the door and everybody else shits themselves and thinks twice before posting such things.
Correct.
It's called the chilling effect. The government uses this to great efficacy.
Yeah, it
which
was
is why
happening
so
in
many
the
people
UK
are too scared
already.
to post their political
Right,
opinions online,
even
especially
before
if you're a
they
Facebook
enacted
mom.
this.
Nigel Farage, the Reform UK leader, told the Sunday
when they
Telegraph
deemed
this is the
certain
beginning of the
posts
state
were
controlling free
not
speech.
to their
The
liking,
beginning.
you got to fucking knock
Nigel,
on the door.
dear Nigel, me and you had a chat about this. Me and you literally had a chat with each other about this. What do you mean the beginning? It is sinister, dangerous, and must be fought. And I absolutely agree, but broken clocks and all that. The Home Office strongly denied police would be monitoring social media for anti-migrant sentiment. You said that in your document. It's in the briefing that you presented. That's literally exactly what you said in your own fucking briefing. I swear to God. They barefaced lie all the time.
Yeah.
These claims are completely...
They literally say it, and then they fucking walk it back, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? You said it like 5 days ago, and now you're all like, "Oh no, we didn't do this." It's like, you motherfucker. I hope you go to hell.
Untrue, a Home Office spokesperson said about the briefing created by the Home Office. This new capability is not about monitoring what people say on their social media feeds, even though you're going to be monitoring what people say on their social media feeds to establish the likelihood of riots happening.
Yeah,
it is about...
Yeah, basically, you're going based on their behavioral pattern, or based on whatever percentage you guys deem unfit. You're gonna go fucking knock on their door. That's what you're gonna fucking do.
Equipping our police forces to respond more rapidly to the needs of the communities they serve by monitoring what people say on their social media feeds and enabling them to react in an agile way to real-time information. Real-time information. Where are you getting that real-time information? On people's social media feeds about incidents and emergencies affecting those communities, which are going to be posted on people's social media feeds. They genuinely think we're idiots. They genuinely think that you're really stupid. It's not about monitoring people's social media feeds. We're just going to do all this stuff.
They basically think you're
information
tech
that we
illiterate.
get from people's
I mean, granted, some people are tech illiterate.
So much. Inspectors said police forces were
own.
overwhelmed by
Not
the
everyone
volume
needs to know.
of social media content as unrest spread last summer. But remember, that's not what they're going to be monitoring. From Southport to London, Sunderland, Rotherham, Middlesbrough, Belfast, and other areas in the most serious nationwide disorder since 2011. A report by the Police Inspectorate earlier this year concluded the approach to online intelligence was disjointed and fragmented and must be urgently overhauled. The disorder last summer started when misinformation spread about the identity of the 17-year-old who murdered 3 young girls, 6-year-old Baby King, Alice da Silva Aguiar 9, and Elsie Stancombe 7, and stabbed several others in Southport on 29th of July. Within hours of the atrocity, false claims circulated widely that the attack was terror-related and perpetrated by an asylum seeker who had arrived recently in the UK on a small boat. We're just going to have a look at this part here. That the attack was terror-related. Are you still parroting that one? The Guardian, my guy, my boy. Remember when it actually came out that the guy had Al-Qaeda stuff and he even had terrorism manuals and stuff like that in his house, and the police buried that on purpose so that it wouldn't go out into the public, and then it all came out during the trial? You're still lying about that. All of that came out. And perpetuated by an asylum seeker who had arrived recently in the UK on a small boat. That's right, he was born here. It was his mum and dad that were asylum seekers. And also, allegedly, there was a gag order in place. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. They actually attempted to deport the father way back in the day. But the father managed to fight in court and actually managed to get his right to remain in the UK, where he then had his son, who then went on to murder 3 little girls. He must have had a really, really great lawyer, the father. He must have had a really, really great immigration lawyer that actually got him kept in the country. Don't worry about who that lawyer was. But anyway, a judge took the unprecedented step of attempting to quell the unrest by lifting an anonymity order for allowing the attacker, Axel Rudakubana, to be named, while Merseyside police took the unusual decision of confirming that he was born in Cardiff, contrary to online claims, but his mum and dad were asylum seekers. However, rioters targeted a mosque in Southport barely 24 hours after the murders before violent clashes, organised largely on apps such as Telegram, spread to other parts of England and Belfast. The small policing unit, for now, NPOCC, took over responsibility for monitoring anti-migrant disorder from counter-terror policing in 2020. Yet inspectors found it incorrectly assessed the threat of unrest last summer as low. Great, they're going to be even more heavy-handed. One intelligence officer said, "We need to keep an eye on this
they just keep getting
all the time.
more heavy-handed.
When we stop, we get back. We must continually monitor social media constantly, all day, every day. Right. See if this is... Oh, no, it's just to give the police a...
I mean, I don't want to say England is in a destabilized position, but the fact that they keep importing these people and then they keep causing problems within their country... And then you're obviously having a bunch of people have anti-immigrant, anti-migrant sentiments, right? I mean, you're causing this issue yourself. All right.
Heads up. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? Anytime the police get any type of institutional power or increase their authority, they give us the usual, think of the children, think of the this, think of the that, and the usual
they hide
bullshit
behind
excuses that's very, very difficult
certain
to argue
causes
against.
to shield
However,
themselves,
that's
and
not,
then
this is to stop
everyone
racism.
gets pissed
this is
off.
to protect the children. This is to protect this, blah, blah, blah. And everyone goes, oh, okay. And then it comes in, and then the fucking government goes like, ah, psych, nigga, you thought. Like that's, they do it every single time, and we keep fucking falling for it. Right? If you believe that, oh, this is just so we can give the police a heads up, so that we can prevent riots, I've got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, until these government entities actually follow through and do the right thing, you're gonna have to fucking hold their feet to the fire, right? Because they're never gonna do the right thing until you fucking keep telling them, hey, you keep fucking up, I'm gonna fucking shellac you, right? If you keep fucking up, I'm not gonna vote for your bitch ass, fucking dumbass. So yes. Assert your dominance to these fucking government fuckheads.
Beach. A police officer there. Breaking news out of Old Orchard Beach. A police officer there has been arrested. Breaking news out of Old Orchard Beach. A police officer there has been arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Unit in Boston says John Luke Evans was picked up in Biddeford after he illegally tried to buy a gun in Maine.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. How can a police officer illegally try to buy a gun?
The Department of Homeland Security says Evans is an illegal immigrant from Jamaica who overstayed his visa when he flew into Miami in September of 2023.
Oh, an illegal alien police officer. That's insane.
You can see Evans here in a post from the Old Orchard Beach Police Department back in June as they welcomed 6 new reserve officers, saying the group had recently graduated from the Maine Criminal Justice Academy's Law Enforcement Pre-Service Program.
Okay, so let's point some fingers. Whose fault is this?
So he did his job, right? He worked at it, but he also broke the law in not renewing his fucking visas and shit. So it's like, dude, what?
Would be comical if it weren't so tragic. We have a police
you were doing the right thing until you did not
charged
do the
with
right thing,
enforcing
right? It's
in
like,
order
what
to
the fuck?
employ
Why
an
would you do
illegal alien.
this?
But the police chief isn't taking this one sitting down.
Old Orchard Police Chief Elise Chard is pushing back against ICE. She says Evans completed federal work authorization forms and that U.S. Department of Homeland Security verified that Evans was cleared to work in the U.S.
Chief Elise Chard writes, quote, as part of the hiring process, the town reviewed multiple forms of identification, including
I guess I guess some of those
Evans's
forms are
I-9
under
form
the
to the
assumption
Department
that
of
you
Homeland
are an
Security's E-Verify
American,
program.
right?
The Department of
You
Homeland
are a
Security
U.S.
then
citizen,
verified that Evans
but this
was
guy is
authorized
not
to
a
work
U.S.
in the
citizen,
US.
right?
The form was submitted and
he
approved by
basically
DHS
lied
on
on
May
his
12,
forms, in a sense.
2025. They also claim he
Well, I
is
mean, they didn't
authorized
ask
to work
him.
in the United States until the
That's
year
the thing.
2030.
She released a longer statement to us saying, quote, we are distressed and deeply concerned about this apparent error on the part of the federal government. We intend to investigate this matter to determine what other steps we should take moving forward to ensure our continued compliance with all applicable law.
Chief Chard also points out that under Maine law, non-citizen residents are allowed to work in law enforcement.
Well, that sounds completely crazy. Does anyone else allow this kind of policy?
Anyone who is legally authorized to work in the state of California with the proper green card or visa is now eligible to become a police officer.
Chicago PD struggles with the shortage of police officers. Staffing fell to its lowest levels last year, forcing the department to lower some of its hiring standards, like waiving 60 hours of college credit, offering online testing, and now removing the requirement of U.S. citizenship.
Undocumented immigrants are not
That's pretty bad.
In the state of Illinois.
Yeah,
still.
ever since they did the whole defund the police and like let's fuck up the police system. Yeah, they really fucked shit up. Yeah. Jesus. So now because they fucked up the police system so much, they're allowing because there's not a lot of people joining the police force. So they have to try and get people somehow to join it. So now they're getting trying to get these illegal immigrants to fucking get in there. Like, what? Or visa holders, people who aren't even fucking part of the country. And it's just like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, because you're asking these guys who are supposed to be, right, law enforcement officers, but you want them to be, you want to import the police officer work from, right, different countries? Like, what? How does that make any fucking sense? Right, visa holders and everything is like, what the fuck? They don't even know our laws, and you're fucking employing them? What the shit? Kudos for admitting he was... What is this? Oh, we already saw this one. Alright, there it is for rapid fire news. Give a like and subscribe to all the sources we saw. Much appreciated.